Good evening. Welcome, everyone. Before our forum begins, there are two reminders for you. First of all, in the forum, there will be a Q&A session. Members can ask our two candidates questions in writing. So when you enter the venue, you should have received some question slips. After filling in those slips, you can submit them through our helpers, and then we can ask your questions on your behalf during Q&A. Please write down your name and member number. Besides, let me remind you that today there will be a photo-taking session. So after the forum begins, assistants and also members of various candidates' team, please do not yell out slogan. Please do not stand up. Otherwise, you would obstruct the camera. Thank you. Let me formally welcome you to the forum on the 2025 Legislative Council election, Accountancy Functional Constituency, organized by Hong Kong ICPA. I'm Joey Tai, the moderator for today. Today, we are happy to have officials from the Financial Services and the Treasury Bureau. Now, let's first take some group photos. First of all, let's invite Mr. Christopher Hui, Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury, Financial Services and the Treasury Bureau. And then we have Mr. Law Cha-kin and also another official from the bureaus. So please stay, gentlemen. Now let's invite the two vice chairmen from ICPA, Mr. Lee Sun-yin and Mr. Che Hoi-fat, please. And Mr. Chen Wing-sun, CEO and registration chief. Thank you. Thank you all. Please return to your seats off stage. Now let's invite the two candidates for a photo. Candidate number 1, Mr. Webster Ng. Number 2, Mr. Edmund Wong, please. Thank you. In a moment, we will invite you back to the stage. Please return to your seats first. Oh, okay. So this is a photo of our two candidates shaking hands, showing courtesy first. Okay, thank you. Later on, we'll invite you two back to the stage. Now, may I invite Mr. Christopher Hui, Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury, to deliver a speech. Thank you. Stephen, Edward, members of the accountancy profession, greetings. Thank you, Hong Kong ICPA, for organizing today's forum. Whose birthday is 7th of December? Anyone? Usually, when I ask this question, there will be a few, but never mind. So I guess you all know about this date, but let me tell you why we should vote. So it is not only about what to do, but why. I know that you are all very serious. You are all professionals. You don't need to totally believe in me. I have asked AI for the reasons. 3 reasons are given. First, for the sake of your own profession. In the past, Edward, now Stephen. So these gentlemen have fought for interest for your profession, and they have done a lot to enhance your profession's image. And recently, during the election of ICPA, there was a 1/4 increase in the number of votes cast. So this is because of good leadership and also more participation. I'm sure that on the 7th of December, there will be a better result. So this is a reason given to me by AI. So another reason is for the sake of Hong Kong. Now, if you are a LegCo member, the issues that you face are not only about the accountancy profession. Very often there are things related to government funding and major projects, policies related to people's livelihood. So we need people who are patriotic, who love Hong Kong as well, those who have a vision and those who have accountability. So after today's debate, you will make wise decisions. The third reason, so not only for the sake of the profession or for Hong Kong, you need to discharge your responsibilities. As a professional accountant, one important point is that you have your own professional pursuits or requirements. So as a member or as a citizen of Hong Kong, you also have that accountability. So that's the third reason why you should vote. Now, you may ask, after casting a vote, so what can you see from the candidates? How can they help the profession and help Hong Kong? As I said just now, in the past, a lot of work of LegCo is closely related to the profession and to Hong Kong. Recently, even though the stock market improved, there are still there is much improvement structurally as well, but I believe that we need professionals such as members of your profession to work more so that our status as IFC can move forward. Well, we are on the third position, and we are only 1 point away from the second position in terms of global financial center. Well, I will have less pressure if our ranking can be enhanced. Today is a good start so that you can listen to the wise insights of the two candidates and you can make a wise choice. Now, I do envy you because you have 1 vote each and I don't have that vote. So I'm going to leave early, but then this is a good chance for you to examine and look very carefully and make good use of your vote on the 7th of December. Thank you, Secretary. Thank you for referring to AI. Now, let's invite Mr. Stephen Law, President of Hong Kong ICPA, to make welcome remarks. Please. Honorable Mr. Hui, Mr. Chan, members, media friends, good evening. Now, you can hear that my voice is hoarse because over the past few days, I have been participating in many electioneering events. On behalf of our association, our institute, I would like to welcome you to the LegCo Council at the LegCo Election Accountancy Functional Constituency Forum. So I can take this opportunity to communicate with members and listen to candidates' platform. I expect enthusiastic questions from you.
I will briefly recap in English. Good evening, fellow members and media friends. I'm Stephen Law, President of the Hong Kong ICPA. On behalf of Hong Kong ICPA, I welcome you to this forum on the 2025 LegCo election for the Accountancy Functional Constituency. The Institute is pleased to provide this platform to facilitate direct exchange between the candidates and our members. We encourage you to raise questions in the Q&A section. Simultaneous interpretation from Cantonese to English is available. Please raise your hand if you need a receiver. Now I will switch back to Cantonese. 今日論壇呢，我哋係設計咗係有4。
In today's forum, there are 4 main topics. First, professional affairs. And number 2, people's livelihood and economy. Number 3, politics. And number 4, AOB. The 2 candidates can express their views along these topics and they can answer your questions. We have 2 candidates. So based on the candidate number announced by the election committee, we have C1, Mr. Webster and C2, Mr. Edmund Wong. So now, let me make an appeal to you. Please vote on the 7th of December for the sake of Hong Kong. And we hope that our status as IFC can be stronger. In the Accountancy FC, we have 24,000 voters, and we are one of the largest FCs. So please vote on the 7th of December. Now let me pass the floor back to our moderator, Joey Tai. Thank you. President, please stay. Before you pass the floor to me, let's take another group photo. Now, President, please proceed to the front of the stage, and let's invite the three other guests for the group photo, including Mr. Christopher Hui, Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury, and Mr. Chen Ho Lim, and also Dr. Sun Tak Kei, Chairman of the Financial Reporting Council. Thank you all. Apart from the President, the three other guests, please return to your seats. And President, please take your seat here with me. Okay, so now we will start our election forum. Let's invite the two candidates to the stage. While our candidates are preparing themselves, let me introduce to you the procedure and rules for today's forum. There are three parts in this forum. First of all, candidates will explain their platform, and then there will be a Q&A session. So all of you here can make use of written questions to ask questions, and then there will be a Q&A session between the two candidates, and then there will be conclusion by the candidates. According to LegCo election guidance, we have to treat candidates in a fair and equal way. Each candidate will have equal amount of time to explain their election platform and answer floor questions, and also ask the other candidate questions, and then they will make conclusion. Now, during each part, we will explain in detail the arrangement and time allocation. During Q&A, those of you in the floor can submit written questions. Please fill in the question slips as soon as possible. Our helpers will collect them, and then we'll ask the questions on your behalf. Please state your name and your membership number. And each member can only ask one question in each part. You can ask questions in Chinese or English. And you must put questions to both candidates. And you cannot pinpoint a certain candidate to ask questions. Candidates will take turns to answer your questions. So for the rules that I mentioned just now, they are distributed here at the venue. At the same time, they have been sent to all of you via email. So please pay attention to the detailed rules. Besides, there are two reminders for you. First of all, please switch your mobile phone to silent mode or vibration mode if there is the need. Please answer phone calls outside. Apart from media representatives and also helpers authorized by the ICPA, all other audiences cannot do video recording or audio recording. Without further ado, let's start the first part.
So the two candidates will be giving us their platforms and manifestos. So that will be 3 minutes each. So you are only going to include your personal information and your manifestos, 3 minutes each, and we will have a bell that will ring. It will give 3 rings, and you will know when your time is up. Right, this is a sound. When you hear 3 soundings of the bell, you will have to stop talking. And if you have any remaining time, you cannot use that time in the other sessions of this forum. All right, would you please hand in your written questions ASAP? If you have any questions, please raise your hand and we will have a staff member come to you to help you. First of all, candidate number 1, Webster Kam-wah. You have 3 minutes to tell us your manifesto. Members, greetings. Those are online, greetings to you. I am Webster Kam-wah, candidate 1. I am a practicing CPA and also a certified tax advisor. My motto is to base firmly in Hong Kong and to serve the firmly based in the profession and to serve Hong Kong. In my manifesto, I have 3 different sections or main points. Firstly, it is to resolve the pain points of our profession. Specifically, we will have different sectors. Those are practicing, not practicing, in the commercial field, government CPAs, and also in Chinese funded companies. There are some measures that I will be talking about. For example, increasing the transparency of the regulators, and this is related to our practice. I will also set up an institute which includes the regulators, the government, the enforcement authorities, and also the LegCo, and also our relevant stakeholders. This will be a platform for regular communication so that our practicing CPAs and non-practicing CPAs will clearly know what the regulators are looking for, and our stakeholders will also be able to know what they can get. Now, in the past 20 years, I see the limited liability reform legislation and consultation concerning this. In the past few weeks, when I was talking to the industry and profession, they have mentioned that this is a very important legislation, but it has stopped process for 20 years. This is something that's very important for our sector, the accountancy profession, and for Hong Kong. And another point is about our profession to increase the digital transformation of our profession, and also we now have a legislation for digital data, but we do not have the guidelines, the regulations yet. And also, I will bring more accountants out internationally so that in Belt and Road countries they can provide their professional support. Here, I would want to urge you to cast a vote for Webster and Kam-wah candidate 1. I have 3 things that I have. I have the capability to implement my platform and manifesto. 2, I have the commitment to carry through. And 3, I have the vision to, in the next 4 years, as a LegCo member representing our profession, to be able to live up to my commitments. Next, we have candidate 2, 3 minutes, Mr. Edmund Wong Chun-sek. Members, seniors in the profession, everyone, greetings. Thank you so much for your support 4 years ago so that I was able to join the LegCo to bring you the best in our interests and rights, and also to speak on your behalf. In the past 4 years, I have successfully implemented all in my manifesto, and for this year, there are a number of points in the manifesto which are continuations, and there are also enhancements, because I've heard your voices in the past 4 years, and there are certain areas which we need time to actually implement, and I need your support. One, we want to look into the future and also to forge a win-win situation. For example, combating false EPAs. I have already made the first step, but we should go further. We should strike from source so that our regulators with legislation can follow through the enforcement better. Secondly, I also understand whether it is the practicing CPAs and accountants, we're worried about over-regulation. I hear that every day, and I understand the concern. As a LegCo member, I will serve as a bridge for the profession to continue to shield our profession. The second main point in my manifesto is forging into the future. You have heard me before that there should be a Greater Bay Area accreditation exam. And in the past 4 years, I have gone to the NPC members, etc. And also in 2022-23, I have proposed in the NPC a proposal concerning exactly this cross-border examination in the Greater Bay Area. And it had been examined by the Guangdong government as well. And if I were elected, I will continue to do so and create more room for development for our young professionals. Thirdly, for listed companies, there will have to be qualified accountants which take up their auditing and financial service. Now, in the past period of time where we canceled this particular request, there had been a it had affected the quality of the accounting work. And as practicing CPAs, we see the problems therein. This is to foster Hong Kong as an international financial center and also create quality positions for our profession. In the past 4 years, your support and encouragement had guided me to become better and better, and I hope in the next 4 years for our profession, for Hong Kong, and for our brand name as IFC, I want to bring it to a more glorious future. Please cast your vote on the 7th of December. To me, candidate 2, Edmund Wong. Time's up. Q&A time now. There'll be 4 parts. Professional issues, social and economic issues, political issues, and other issues. And each part will include the audience questions or floor questions and also cross-questioning from the candidates. If you have further questions you want to put to the candidates, please give it to our staff now. So these questions will be in written form. Please put the questions over and into the boxes. So our president will pick the questions from the box, and the candidates will be taking their turns to answer the questions. First of all, for the first question for the profession, candidate 1 will be fielding that question, and then candidate 2 will answer the same question, and the next question will be answered by the candidate 2 first, and then followed by candidate 1. And then for the second part, the order will change. So you have 2 minutes to answer the questions, where there is 30 seconds remaining, and at the end of the 2 minutes, there will be a bell, just as just now. And you must stop talking after the 2 minutes, and you cannot use any remaining unused time for another session. All right, so let's start concerning the floor questions on our profession. 1 question had already been picked by our president. The first question comes from Check-in Lock, Kent. Membership number 06320. Now, there are 2 developmental issues. 1, green finance, sustainability accounting or reporting, and also AI. These are highly related to accountancy. Candidates, may I ask how you're going to monitor the government and also to promote these policies? First of all, candidate 1, Mr. Ng, 2 minutes. Thank you very much for the question from this member. There are 2 questions there, sustainability and big data. Sustainability, we all know the standards S1, S2 are already in place. As a LegCo member in the Legislative Council, I can promote and also tell the world internationally that Hong Kong actually has a very cutting-edge role to play in green finance system. As for the relevant requirements and the standards, we already have them, but we can definitely improve on them so that we can bring the standards to the international arena so that they can follow us. For a lot of the guidelines and the standards, very often Hong Kong follows the international guidelines and standards. But in this case, we can actually take the lead to come up with our own, and also to work integratedly with the country in green finance. Now, for big data, there is digital asset which had been introduced by the government. And as you know, stable coin is already in place. The legislation is already in place. But the relevant standards are not there yet. So in the association and in the legislation process, we need to work on these so that we will be able to tell the international investors that we have a very comprehensive framework which will lead us to be an IFC and at the forefront of the financial field and investment field as well. And for accounting standards, etc., for the international arena, they can also follow that of Hong Kong. Hong Kong will be leading. Support me, candidate 1. Right. Next, we will have Edmund Wong, 2 minutes. Well, accountants, I am Edmund Wong. Actually, this question came up 2 days ago in another forum, so I've made some homework concerning sustainable development. In the previous forum, I said that we have 3 roles as an accountant. First of all, we are translator for green values. For some abstract concepts and data, we turn them into useful information so that investors would know these green products or green value assets. They can invest in them and also get a reasonable return. And also we are a gatekeeper for green finance. For SFS, which is already in place or announced by the ICPA. Right now, however, there is no legislation to govern or monitor or supervise these services. So the ICPA should also set up these standards so that we combat the greenwashing. And this had been discussed at the LegCo as well. I'm sure you understand. Third, it is on prophesizing. We are prophets of corporate profitability and risks. For example, climate change, and there are other risks that may be that the corporates might face. We have to see further ahead. So as accountants, we have to safeguard our core values and we have to help the corporates to understand their situation. As a LegCo member, I will promote subsidies and tax concessions and also so that the corporates can carry out this work. As for AI, I'm sure you're no stranger to it. For gen testing, we're really talking about big data usage. I'm sure you know about it. And also it can avoid the profession from doing repetitive and mundane work. Please support me, Edmund Wong. All right. Next, the second question. Edmund Wong will be answering first. Yes, this question comes from Tong Ming Young. 7313. How can we attract young people to join the profession? And also for the professions in Hong Kong, how do we compare that with the enhance that vis-a-vis those from other jurisdictions? And how do we combat false accountants? Well, for the last question, in the past, you have seen my track record in joining the LegCo. I have already done that. I've put out the first step in striking against false PAs, public accountants. And for example, with codes, the government can better collect the relevant data and combat these false accountants. And we also have to do the second step, which is striking at source. For example, we have to legislate so that the practicing code can be referred to the tax bureau, because right now there is no mechanism at tax bureau to know how many tax reports our profession or accountants have signed, and so there can be better reporting and enforcement in the future. The third one is that our AFRC will be able to directly enforce against these false accountants. Right now, it is the police doing that, but they're too busy. In the past 20 years, you know what the situation had been. So we need all these 3 steps. As for attracting young people to the profession, the problem is actually long-standing. In the past, we were able to be profitable. We could make a living. Everybody was attracted. But now our pie is getting smaller and our market may be saturated. That's why there should be a dedicated exam for the Greater Bay Area, so it is not a 7 million population market but a 83 million market. And also for GEM reform and listing rules reform, I have worked on those as well. This is to bring in more capital to Hong Kong, grow the pie, and so our young people will see that we are vibrant IFC before they will join our profession. All these work hand in hand. So cast a vote for me, Edmund Wong. Next, Webster answering the same question, 2 minutes. Thank you for the question. There are 3 parts to it. First, attracting young professions. As a LegCo member, it's not just about our profession, but also we have to work with the education profession as well. A lot of people tell me that for the young members, who come out from the universities, they do not want to join the profession because for the graduates, do they really have what the profession needs? That's the first question. And secondly, attracting young people, do we have a message about the status of our profession? Is our profession valued, for instance? Now, 10 years ago or 20 years ago, this is a very prestigious profession. As accountants, I tell people that I am accountant proudly. But in this day and age, there are a lot of new generation youngsters. They see social development. There are more opportunities. And so we have to rebrand our profession, I say. So the ICPA and myself, we will have this responsibility to enhance our branding so the young people will feel that joining this profession is valued and it has high status. Thirdly, how do we combat false or bogus accountants? Yes, we have the PC number that we all know, but the PC number is just obtainable. You can only find that in the tax bureau. Only the tax bureau has it, not the regulators. If I tell you with the PC number, it will already combat bogus accountants. That's a joke because it's not sufficient. So in striking against bogus accountants, we have to strike from the source. We need, as I've mentioned, we need a platform where the enforcement and also the regulators will all have to be involved. Support me. Edmund Wong. All right, we have finished this section. Please continue to raise your questions and write them down because we have other sessions of Q&A. Now this is the cross-questioning session concerning the accountancy profession. The candidates in each other section can raise 2 questions to the other candidate, and you have 20 seconds to raise a question. Where there is 10 seconds remaining, and at the end of the question session, there will be a bell ringing to notify you. And where there is remaining time unused, they cannot be used in another session. The candidate will have 2 minutes to answer each question. And where there is 30 minutes remaining, and at the end of the 2 minutes, there will be a bell ringing, and you will have to stop talking when the time is up, and unused time will not be used in another session.
In this part, we will follow the order of the candidate number. So that means candidate 1 will first put questions to candidate 2. And then in the second part, we will do it the other way around and vice versa. Now, let's start with questions from candidate number 1, Webster. Please ask your first question. You have 20 seconds. Please proceed. Edmund, in your platform, you said you talked about the GBA practicing examination, and you have been talking about that 4 years ago in your platform, and you have been striving for that for the past 4 years, and this year you are making the same point, but you did not succeed in the past 4 years. So is it better if you change this position? Candidate number 2, you have 2 minutes. Thank you, Webster, for the question. So he talked about a change of personnel. Would it be better? So, I thank him for agreeing to my platform because he agrees to such an examination. Well, in the past 4 years, it is not true that I have not done anything. Well, this is in the platform 4 years ago. In fact, I made the same points for a number of years already. In the past 4 years, I did different work. In 2022, 2023, through Hong Kong NPC, I made this point. But as you know, we are talking about amending studying the mainland accountancy law, and there are requirements in relation to citizenship and so on. So things are complicated. So 4 years ago, I said that this should be an accountancy practicing examination so that a CPA can join accountancy firm as practicing partner, and non-practicing accountants can do consulting business and then become partners. I understand that this is difficult, so I've made amendments. So I hope that we can take up other consultancy business, and this is actually appropriate based on the current time. And as professional accountants, you know that in the past, we have actually made all our footsteps. It is difficult to achieve things at one go. If we are able to make a little progress, at least we know that we will succeed. So this is being given to the Ministry of Finance of Guangdong Province to examine. So this shows the support and recognition of the Hong Kong accountancy profession. If there is a change in personnel in LegCo to continue such work, why not give this work to someone who is accountable, someone who has this passion and so on. So regarding PC number to combat fake accountants, this has been an issue troubling the profession for 20, 30 years. Now, 4 years ago, I tolerated such pressure to do the work. In the past, nothing is known about that. Now I have made the first step, so please support me. Time's up. So, Webster, can you please ask your question? You have 20 seconds. Oh, it's me to ask questions? Oh, you are going to ask me question. Okay. Right. Okay, so, yes. So please go back to our own position. You have 20 seconds to ask question. Number one, Webster, please ask your second question. You have 20 seconds. Thank you. In March 2024, Finance Committee injected funds into the Financial Recovery Bureau, and then you abstained in the vote. So you have many other channels to express your view. How come you were so irresponsible? You did not express your agreement or disagreement. So this had actually removed our communication channel with that council. Number two, candidate number two, you have 2 minutes to answer. This is a very good question. In March 2024, in Finance Committee, there was this discussion, and there was wide circulation within our profession at that time. In the past 2 years, our turnover, our trading volume was low, so it is difficult to sustain the operation of that council. And in March 2024, they asked LegCo for 200 million. Otherwise, they won't be able to continue operation after August 2024. At that time, there were different views in the profession, and we read some papers from them to LegCo. And still, our doubts and our reservations have not been allayed. And after long discussion, as member of the profession, I cannot support such funding request for 200 million. I was being responsible. No matter whether I vote for or against, we're talking about constitutional responsibility to make a decision. And my main point is that at that time, I have asked the question, if we vote down on that motion, then what will happen? Well, 3 months later, that motion will be resubmitted. And if it is still voted down, then there won't be other choice. In other words, they will have to collect a levy from members of this profession. As member of this profession, I am in a difficult position. If I agreed, then that council, that body would have 200 million, but they were not able to answer our questions. And if I vetoed, then they would actually charge the profession. So as LegCo member, we always face this situation. We have to strike a balance between the profession and the regulator. And so as a result, I abstained. So I would like to make a point here. As a member with a political affiliation, well, this is our biggest benefit. Well, because of my affiliation, all 19 members in our association abstained. So as a result, this motion was passed with the lowest vote. All right, time is up. Now, Mr. Wong, you have 2 rounds of chance to ask Mr. Ng questions. Now you have 20 seconds. Webster, you know that Hong Kong ICPA as Global Accounting Alliance member, well, in the past, did you communicate with their management and with their subchapters and their members? If you are elected, how are you going to promote more collaboration between the Hong Kong accountancy profession and the international accountancy industry. Number one, you have 2 minutes. Well, for GAA in the Hong Kong ICPA, I sit in different committees. I have taken part in that work. I do not take part in overseas events or conferences directly on behalf of GAA, but then in our committee, in terms of our actual operation, every time during meetings or in between meetings, we receive information from colleagues in the Hong Kong ICPA talking about the development. And I think the development is appropriate. As a committee member, it is indeed feasible. And I think this is about actual operation. If I am a LegCo member, then in terms of status and functions and the approach, scope and positioning, all these will be different. In the process, I will serve as a super connector, as what I stated in my platform, because at LegCo, so it is no longer about how to make arrangements and how to communicate. We have to stand at the forefront to represent Hong Kong and the accountancy profession and Hong Kong ICPA to communicate with the GAA bodies. Now, I would like to say that if you are in different positions, you have different functions and different positioning. When I work in another body to handle taxation, because I have a different position, then I do different work. Sometimes I attend overseas events on behalf of that body. And if you belong to a committee, then you have to think of how to actually handle the related matters so that the work can be more properly done. So please support me, number one, Webster. Thank you. Time is up. Candidate 2, you have 20 seconds to ask your second question. Please start. Webster, in the platform, in relation to listed companies, need to have Hong Kong accountants to handle financial reporting so that there will be better job opportunities for our profession, and then our IFC status can be reinforced. Do you agree to this point in my platform? If not, then how can you help our profession? Time is up. Candidate 1, you have 2 minutes. Thank you, Edmund, for the question. Now, there are 2 dimensions here to your question. First of all, having members of Hong Kong ICPA to work in listed companies, if this is a must, then definitely this can help our members. On the other hand, we have to know that we are an international financial center. In terms of our positioning, do we really want to adopt a broad-brushed approach so that all our members need to take up positions in listed companies? My answer is that is not necessary. Actually, ICPA members can have very broad positioning and scope. Some may be more familiar with Hong Kong companies, some are more familiar with international enterprises, some mainland enterprises. So if you set a positioning that this work has to be taken up by Hong Kong ICPA members, I think this is not the right way that can benefit all members. Now, you can think of one point. In my platform, well, there is a connector role. And then in the process of connection, there is not only Hong Kong. We have the Greater Bay Area and also other jurisdictions and accountants from other countries. They can also contribute their functions. And during this process, if a listed company hires an accountant who is not appropriate, then the related functions of that listed company cannot be discharged. So in this process, you have to think how we can help members of the Hong Kong ICPA and put them in an appropriate way to Hong Kong listed companies. So we should not make it a rule that all members, all Hong Kong accountants must be placed in the same way. This will also affect the positioning of Hong Kong as an IFC. Now, in Hong Kong listed companies, the international world will see that there must be Hong Kong accountants. So will this affect people's judgment of us? Time's up. Thank you, both candidates. This is the end of Q&A time on professional issues. Now we will move on to social and economic issues. So this is time for the floor to ask questions. If you have filled in question slips, please hand them over to our helpers, and then we will ask your questions on your behalf. Now we will start part 2, social and economic issues. So this is the time for floor questions. Our president has drawn one question already. This question will be first taken by Edmund Wong, number 2. You have 2 minutes. Please get ready. First question. In face of government's fiscal deficit, as member of this profession, what are your recommendations to the government? This question is from Changchi Leung 00841. Edmund Wong, you have 2 minutes. Please start. Thank you for this question. Government fiscal deficit is not a question that is not an issue that is short term. Well, first of all, our expenses may be rather big, and in the future there may be more investment needs. As a LegCo member representing the accountancy profession, we have the professional expertise to anticipate this matter. Before the budget was announced this year, I have moved a motion about how to optimize government processes to reduce our deficit. I think this is something that member of our profession should do. Now, government expenses are huge, and now they are talking about 7% adjustment over a 3-year period. And then there will be long-term investments that can not really be reduced. Now, as you know, we have $120 billion of infrastructural investment. If we do not invest into infrastructure, in the future there will be problem. And in the near future, the biggest issue is the North Metropolis. Regarding the North Metropolis, now the government is going to issue bonds, and then members of the public will buy bonds, and then interest is used to buy time. This is one feasible way, because in this way we can share economic fruits with citizens. But most importantly, we have to change the overall mindset of the government so that they know that this is an issue they should face up to in a proactive way. Besides, at the end of this year, there isn't only a break-even. If you read the newspapers, there is a report issued by a firm saying that there is 15.4 billion surplus. So with introduction of some policies about attracting talents and about attracting more business opportunities, this situation will improve. And the most important point is that we have to continue to monitor the government's expenses. Time's up. Candidate 1, you have 2 minutes to answer the question. Please start. Thank you, member, for your question. In face of the fiscal deficit, as said earlier, the fiscal deficit does not happen overnight. So there are 3 parts here. First of all, we have to control our expenses or cut our expenses in terms of public finances. Healthcare, social welfare, and education are the 3 major expense areas. And if you read the government's budgets, the government is trying their best to make ends meet. So there is going to be a reduction by 7% in expenses. This is something good. As members, we must monitor this. If you say we don't have enough money so we can increase tax, then, well, it is easy to solve the problem. But the point is whether the government has done a good job. We need to monitor how the government spends money. Is it efficient in spending money? Now, we can all see that now AI, high technology, can be used so as to make sure that the spending of money is more efficient. That's about cost. And we also need revenue, because in terms of revenue, the most important thing is tax revenue and revenue from land sale or stamp duty. These are affected by economic cycles. And in 2006, when I joined this institute, we have been talking about taxation for 20-odd years, but not much has been done. The government has not studied tax base issue. The tax base is narrow. I think our profession is aware of that. What the government is now doing is to attract business opportunities and to bring in capital. This is the right direction, and there are new funds coming in. But funds come from companies. Funds can come and go, and that is not stable as well. If our environment is such that operation is not good all of a sudden, then companies will consider to make an exit. So as LegCo members, we must monitor the government's revenue and expenses. Please support me. Number 1, Webster. Time is up. Candidate 1, please get ready to answer the following question. The president has drawn the question already. This is from Mok Hing Shing. membership number 55866. So candidates, how do you see the Northern Metropolis? Candidate 1, you have 2 minutes to answer the question. Please go ahead. Thank you, member, for the question. Regarding the Northern Metropolis, you can see that it is a grand blueprint. And actually, when I stood for election, in our team, there are relevant people who are familiar with the Northern Metropolis. Now, regarding the development of the Northern Metropolis, as you know, there are different segments there. For example, innovation and technology, leisure and recreation, and also healthcare. Now, regarding this arrangement, you can see that it is one very important part about integration. If you have been to the Northern Metropolis, you will know. When we look towards Shenzhen from Hong Kong, you can see many high-rise buildings. Development is good. In the past 10, 20 years, they have been doing a good job. However, if you look towards Hong Kong from Shenzhen, then that part is not developed at all. There is only fragmented development. So in terms of integration between Hong Kong and mainland, we do need the Northern Metropolis. And in terms of finances, well, you can see that the government is issuing bonds. As LegCo member, especially from our profession, we must do a good job of monitoring. So the initial positioning, the rate of return, and the way of spending money must be monitored. And what kind of arrangements are they going to make in the process? How are they going to pay for the related expenses to the relevant builders to tie in with different phases and different zoning of development. And then after it is completed for different phases, we need to assess and evaluate whether the original expected rate of return is delivered and whether the economic benefits are delivered. Please support me, Webster, so that I can join LegCo to monitor the government's work about the Northern Metropolis. Time is up. Candidate 2, you have 2 minutes to answer the question. Please start. This is a very good question. I remember that 4 years ago when I stood for election, this term already existed. 4 years have passed, and we can see that the government is very active in developing the Northern Metropolis. And this metropolis area is like the size of 3 Hong Kongs, so it is very big. So I think it is an area with the biggest potential. It is a development engine, and I believe that the government needs to do a good job with the Northern Metropolis. Given our current fiscal deficit, the government is going to issue bonds, as I mentioned earlier, so members of the public can share the economic fruits together. Regarding bond issuance, there are a few dimensions. So there can be short-term bonds for 10 years, and then citizens and residents can enjoy the fruits of economic development together. Long-term bonds can also be issued, for example, for a term of 30 years, and those can be made available to the big funds. And we can add in PPP, public-private partnership. This is also one funding model. When we bring in different models, then for this project, it is not only a government project, it will be a PPP project. So you can imagine if you are an investor investing so much into the Northern Metropolis, if you are in the business sector, then you will view it from the business sector's perspective. So with the participation of the business sector, then they will look at it from an investment returns point of view, then there will be better monitoring and regulation. Otherwise, no one will invest. I think that Northern Metropolis, being 1/3 in area of Hong Kong's area, there can be a lot of pilot schemes, including Chinese medicine, Chinese medical hospital, education city, land laws. Well, all these can be the subjects of pilot schemes there, and this is also one direction for our development.
Time's up. Next, concerning social, people's livelihood and economy, we'll have questions. First of all, candidate 2, Edmund Wong, will ask the questions. Please use 20 seconds to ask your first question, please. Webster, how do you see Hong Kong's future economy and the property market? You know there's been a lot of measures, but the property market doesn't seem to be performing well. Some people are pessimistic, and also some say that there should be reintroduction of a lifebuoy and saving measures for the corporates? Answer the question in 2 minutes. Thank you for the question. For economic development, the property market is very relevant. For the property market, from an accountancy point of view, its fluctuation in value would seriously impact our young accountants directly. For example, they would be thinking of buying their own homes. And in this situation, you would think for the young accountants, how can they get on the property owning ladder? So that's how the property market can affect our profession and also the upward mobility of our young professionals. And this is exactly in our manifesto, and that is resolving the pain points in our profession. The young professionals in the accounting sector, they put in a lot of efforts in starting their profession or opening a firm, and then they use 5-10 years after exams with a very good profession. Then they basically get themselves into the property investing cycle, and they spend a lot of efforts and investment into that, and that's not upward mobile at all. So if we can help our young professionals to be upward mobile, that will have relevance to their wealth, and that indirectly is related to the property market as well. You finish your answer? Yes. Next, we have 20 seconds for candidate 2 to ask a second question. Right. Thank you, Webster. Concerning supporting young professions and how we can help them to own their own home. You support that, which is in my manifesto as well. Now, concerning the IP and also providing auditing reports for the corporations, what do you think about that? Well, thank you, Edmund, for your question. This is also in my manifesto, which is about facing up to IT change and also raising the value of our profession. Because we know that technology is no longer an option, but it is really a necessity in our profession. There is no choice. Technology reform allows us to do our work better and more efficiently, and therefore, for the new entrants into our profession, especially when I talked about the pain points about upward mobility of our young professions, they can actually teach us how technology can be better used. For us as practitioners in the industry on corporates for a long time, in this new era, we can also understand for our profession what are some of the requirements, and also in our standards, it could also reflect that as well. So Edmund would support me in promoting this, and that is technology transformation in our profession, and it will raise our professional value as well, so we're no longer a rules follower but a rules creator. And technology, on the other hand, can allow our profession to be more efficient and more effective, so that we can also live up to the directions of the LegCo in the field of education or innovation and IT, so that we can better monitor the government's work and also promote the government or to have more policies concerning innovation and technology. This is necessary, so support me, Webster, bring me into the LegCo so that I can work on the policies mentioned in my platform. 2 minutes used up. Next, we will have candidate 1 with 2 rounds of questions. The first round of question, 20 seconds, please. Edmund, we have vehicles coming north and south, and the accounting profession is already in the talent list. Now, you have not consulted the profession. Should I thank you for it? Do you have the preparation and capability to for our Hong Kong professionals to make us sufficiently competitive? 2 minutes for answer, please. Thank you, Webster, for your question. Let me just report to members here. For talents within the profession, it has been applied for some time. When I became a LegCo member, there were 2 motions. One is the fiscal budget, the fiscal deficit, and the other is about talents shortage in our profession. In 2017, there were 17,000 students, and in the next year, there was a 20% drop. At its lowest, it was 11,000. Actually, right now it stands at 11,000 students only. So with people not coming into the profession, we have different directions. We recruit locally, we nurture our talents, we've done both of that, but we are still missing something, and talent list had been consulted the professions. Actually, together with the ICPA in June and July, there had been at the time a survey, and the report, which included 400 consultants and accounting firms, saying that it had been extremely difficult to recruit people. And we have provided that to the government. And in February of 2024, in AC Fund 1, our representatives from the profession, that is me, had also participated in that process. You are blaming me for it? Well, if you want to do so. But in March, we have also taken action. Do not forget, the first motion that I proposed there were 3 points, and I can give you that text again. But basically, it is about filling the vacancies in our profession. And talents had always been a situation in Hong Kong. And through these efforts, can we have a good development for our profession? Second question, 20 seconds, please. Just to supplement for the talents list, actually, after that had been done, there had been no increase in talents. Now, for the fiscal deficit, there had been a large deficit and 80% lowering of revenue from land sale. I do not see how you're tackling that deficit. Are you waiting for a surplus? I just want to supplement for the talent list. It was on the 1st of March 2025, that is this year, when it was implemented, and it is still in process. It will not have any effects right away, but there is this mechanism. There are 3 things in it. One, we can, in the mainland, for some of the institutes that are recognized by ICPA, to recruit their graduates. 2, GAA, Global Accounting Alliance, the 7 organizations, we can hire their qualified accountants. But of course, for certain areas, we can go through our talents list and bring in talents from overseas. But this is not a situation that will affect our local employment. In the past period of time, I have not found any local graduates from accountancy profession who were not able to find work. No. And thank you, Webster, for reminding this, because a lot of people do not know that there is a talents list, but actually can help the profession. As for the fiscal deficit, it is a long-standing issue. Our land sale revenue and also our loss of talents, our profit tax, our stamp duty, because our transaction volume had fallen. All these are reasons for the deficit. In order to resolve these problems, we need to make our economy more vibrant again. Rather than to cut costs only, we have to grow the pie. We have to bring in talents. We have to bring in more capital. All these are revenue. And at the same time, we have to bring more talents to Hong Kong as an education hub, as a talent hub. This is exactly about this pain point. When we look at the problem, we have to look at the root cause. We know that our root is that our economy is stagnant, and what we want to do is to enliven that, and all the policies point to the same direction in the past. All right, so that's been 2 rounds of questioning. I'm sure the candidates need a rest, and you all need some digestion. That's why we will have 10 minutes of recess, and we have some refreshments in the venue. Please avail yourself to that. And would you please use the time to write up your questions for the third and fourth section. And please.
Greetings. So now we will start part 3, political issues. First, we will start from questions from the floor. The President has drawn one question for us already. So this question will be answered first by Webster Ng, candidate 1. So this question is from Chen Wai-chun. Membership number is 30716. So for FC members, they have to strike a balance between the profession and other members of the public's interest. If there are potential conflicts between these two, how are you going to balance the two sides in order to take into account the interests of the industry as well as the overall society? Candidate 1, you have 2 minutes. Thank you for this question. As I stated in my platform, so the profession as the basis and Hong Kong as our home. First of all, I do not have political party affiliation. So I will make decision from a professional perspective. If I'm elected a LegCo member, then I will also use a professional perspective to strike a balance between different issues. So I will consider the professions, the accounting profession as the ultimate interest. So if there is conflict between this sector and the overall Hong Kong, then what? As I emphasized previously, although I do not have party affiliation, I will communicate with other LegCo members. As the example I cited just now, for young accountants, we need to start from education. They may have to do more about innovation and technology, so I will communicate with LegCo members in the relevant sectors. Now, I view from professional perspective, so I will view from the accountancy's perspective, and then other members will look from education's perspective or INT perspective. So in the process, we can be more objective in reaching our conclusion. And we will also look at the overall interest of Hong Kong. So this is actually, as I said, Hong Kong as our home. My profession is accountancy, and accountancy is only one segment in Hong Kong. And when this segment is combined with all the other sectors, then we will have the overall economy of Hong Kong. And there won't be conflicts with our professional criteria. We will do a good job in our profession, and if other sectors also do their work, then we will have a very good Hong Kong as our home. Time's up. Candidate 2, you have 2 minutes. Please start. Thank you for the question. In the past long period of time, I have been asked this question. As a member with party affiliation, when the political party's direction and the overall Hong Kong's direction is in conflict with the profession, then what should I do? How should I achieve a compromise? Now, we are part of Hong Kong, and so theoretically speaking, our interests should not be in conflict with that of the overall Hong Kong. But it is normal to have different views internally, and political parties also have different views because political parties represent the interests of different sectors and different walks of life. If the sector has different view from my political party, then first of all, I will understand different councillors' views within our party, and then I will convince them to follow my decision, because this is an important part for me to defend the profession. If any issue arises, that is, if there are different interests between the profession and the political party and that of the overall Hong Kong, we have an opt-out mechanism. We can strive to vote negatively and not following the political party. Don't worry, I represent the profession. The profession's interest is of utmost importance to me, and in the past period, there were different scenarios where I had different views from my party, and there are cases in which they listen to me and change their stance of voting. Now, in 2024, regarding the Finance Committee decisions, if I am an independent councillor, I won't be able to fight for so many things if I don't have party backup. Now, there are GCs, FCs, and election committee members who have asked the same question. So this is the merit of political party. Things I have not succeeded can be followed up by other members. Candidate 2, please get ready. The second question will be answered by you first. The second question from the floor is drawn by our president, Chung Chik-leung, membership number 841. As member of the profession, how do you help the profession that under geopolitical pressure, how to ensure high-quality service? Candidate number 2, you have 2 minutes to answer the question. Please go ahead. Okay. Candidate 2. Well, sorry, can you restart the time counter? Oh, sorry, my fault. Okay, you have 2 minutes. Please go ahead. Thank you for the question. I believe you all understand that in the past period, there was quite high or big geopolitical pressure. In the past, we always talked about collaboration and exchanges with Western countries. And in this regard, our profession has not changed our stance. Today, Hong Kong ICPA, as member of the GAA accountancy bodies, every time when there are management and leaders coming to Hong Kong, I was in contact with them. This is important. As a member of the profession, I use this position to tell a good story of Hong Kong and of the Hong Kong accountancy profession. So will there be less opportunity? I think there would be some impact. But of course, there may be impact on our profession. So when we develop new financial markets, for example, in the Middle East and along the Belt and Road, this is definitely the right direction. And the most important thing is that we are backed by our motherland. Now, when we go to different countries to make friends, Hong Kong, as the southern gateway of our country, is the most open financial city of our country, and we are also the #1 IFC in Asia. So we bring in and we also go out, as what I said in my platform. And talking about the GBA accounting qualification examination, this is to for us to give full play to our role. So in the past, Hong Kong served as a springboard for foreign capital going into the mainland. But now we also bring our enterprises overseas. This is one important point. In my past work, and also recently the government talked about the task force going abroad. I think this is along the same direction. So we need to tell a good story of Hong Kong and of the accountancy profession. Thank you all. Time is up. Candidate 1, you have 2 minutes to answer this question. Please start. Thank you, member, for the question. Thank you, Edmund, for emphasizing the going abroad points and also the policy about the Belt and Road and also about the role as super connector and value adder. Regarding geopolitics, geopolitics will affect our economic development. As I stated in my platform, professionalism is the fundamental point. We make use of our professional expertise to handle different places, different countries, economic and trade flows and exchange. Now, domestic companies need to go abroad. Foreign companies want to go into the mainland or the Belt and Road. We use our accountancy profession to place our positioning, and it is important for us to provide our professional value as accountants. Do we need political party to support this? I think it is just because I have no party affiliation and I can do a better job tying in my work with Hong Kong's development. If I only use the profession to tell a good story about Hong Kong, then I believe, well, many places can be convinced by us easily. So the political party affiliation won't be a special factor for consideration. Besides, geopolitics will definitely affect the positioning of Hong Kong because Hong Kong is affected a lot by other places. As a LegCo member, if I purely adhere and defend my profession in working on economic and trade ties and to uphold our status as IFC, well, definitely there are only merits and no demerit. So in this process, my third item in the platform as super connector can definitely be achieved. So please support me, Webster number 1.
So please be prepared. This is cross-questioning. You will ask the first question. And the third section is about politics. You will have 20 seconds to ask a question. First of all, candidate 1, you have 20 seconds to ask a question of candidate 2. Edmund, according to my understanding, you and your political party, you are very much aligned in terms of the proposals that you have. And for the budget, there's a lot of questions about the rank and file in Hong Kong, rather than the middle class or the profession. For example, in tax concessions, have you been thinking about legislating for those? You have 2 minutes to answer. Thank you for the question. Again, this allows me to talk about my strong points. As a political party crossing different sectors, we have to work for the good of Hong Kong as a whole. If a political party only panders to one sector, that is not ideal, and this is not what Hong Kong wants to see. In your platform, you also say that Hong Kong is your home. As professionals, we also have a social responsibility to take care of different sectors in the society. As a LegCo member for the accounting profession, I think what is most important is to uphold our profession's interests. Webster, you cannot deny that. But at the same time, we have to strike a balance. For example, in 2025, 18% for social welfare, and also 15% for education, and also for our major expenditure items for most of our party LegCo members. We see that they also come from different ranks in the society. There are 2 professional accountants. There are lawyers and financiers, etc. And when I talk about the policy advocates, we are joining with the financiers. And also for our political party, as I've mentioned, there is not just one voice. In the past, they have supported us to cross parties, including working with independent LegCo members to work on certain motions. For example, my motions, I've worked with financial field as well as other sectors as well. So going back to your question just now, would my party work for the lower strata of society more? But actually, we need to be more macro. The party is more macro. Just look at the budget and you will see the answer. Candidate 1, you have a second round to ask your question. 20 seconds. Edmund, in the past 2 days, I've been looking at media report. You have 3 different nationalities. Can you talk about being patriotic to our country? What is a definition? And also it says that in the media report, it says behavior shows patriotism. How come the basic law allows for more than one passport or nationality? Thank you for your question. 4 years ago, it had already been raised. Let me just revisit that. Going back to Article 67 of the Basic Law, it says that non-Chinese nationality persons can be LegCo members with no more than 20% of LegCo seats. And so that will be 12 from the functional constituency, and that is exactly showing that Hong Kong is an inclusive and diversified society. So a passport doesn't directly relate to capability, I would say. And very often it is about our platform, our track record, our future vision, and our capability that are important. I have the capability, I have a good platform, and I have very clear vision for the future. In this new era, when choosing, these are the main points of focus. Just now, you talked about the media reports, talking about me having different passports. Well, 4 years ago, there was the same question posed to me, and in the past 4 years, the members in the profession understand this. That situation had not changed. 4 years ago, if you cast a vote for me, I'm sure this will not become a hindrance to you this time. In my past record, my capability is satisfactory to you, and if you think my platform is persuasive, then on the 7th of December, please vote for me, candidate 2, Edmund Wong. Any supplements? No supplements. All right. Now prepare for the 2 questions. You will be asking 20 seconds for the first question, please. I want to ask Webster, if you're in the LegCo, you're very often in the audit committee. If you see there are errors in the audit reports, how do you and there have been wrongful criticisms of a department. How do you help that particular department to fight off these unfair criticisms? Well, thank you, Edmund, for the question. We know that Edmund had been in the LegCo for 4 years, and he's very well familiar with the running of the different government departments and the audit department, and also the Committee on Finance and Audit. Now, as a non-LegCo member, let me answer the question. The head of the audit department, we all know, is also a practicing accountant, and we believe that he is very fair and also stern in dealing with any department's audit, and we see that in the news as well. But of course, there can be errors. And in making errors, there would be mechanisms where before issuing the audit report, there will be opportunities for rectification. However, the errors were not discovered until it went to the LegCo relevant committee. There is a closed door and an open session to the committee meeting, as far as I know. As a new LegCo member, I would very clearly communicate why there was this error or problem. And after the closed door meeting, before the open meeting, I will see whether the problem can be rectified or handled and the issues addressed. But of course, I cannot be sure whether this is right because I'm not a LegCo member yet. It is based on my past 4 years in understanding the operation of the government departments. But for some of the operations, it is confidential, and it is not up to the regular citizen to understand or get information on. If I'm wrong, please point it out to me. But if I can be PAC, then I will exercise my right as a LegCo member to right the wrong. Support me, candidate 1. Right. You have a second round, 20 seconds for your question. Thank you. Webster, for AFRC, the financial position may also have a situation where there is a deficit. Now, if there is no injection of capital from the Hong Kong government, but rather there has to be a higher levy for licensing, how would you protect the rights of the profession, please? 2 minutes for your answer. Thank you, Edmund, for the question. You reminded me, actually, that I and also you are both on the AFIC advisory committee. We are 2 out of the 12 members. Even as a LegCo member, I will have dual identities. But as mentioned just now, in 2024 March, you have abstained from the vote. You did not approve the capital injection from the government. And if this should arise again, first of all, I will be talking to the Finance Committee for an internal communication to see what the problems are, what the pain points are. And exactly this is the first point in my platform, and that is resolving the pain points of our profession. In resolving the pain points, actually the AFIC is also part of our profession, and you would know that there are a lot of accountants in that council. We are not adversarial, no, but rather we are working side by side to make Hong Kong better, to make Hong Kong's economy better, and make our profession better. Now, if the problems cannot be resolved, then I think in the relevant committees, for example, the Finance Committee, according to my information, in the meeting there should be questioning And also, there will be a clarification from the profession. If this is not approved, then what will happen? Perhaps the levy would increase, as you have mentioned, or it would impact our profession. And would that be the case where the council's rice bowl is broken, and because the families of the people working at the council will need to have their livelihood, so would we therefore take time to actually sit down with the relevant stakeholders, and including the Financial Reporting Council, to discuss before abstaining or disapproving? All right, we come to the last session, which is about other issues. First of all, we will have the floor questioning. The President had already picked a few questions. The first question is about bogus accountants. And in the first section, we have already answered that question. So we will use discretion to pick one more question. And for this section, we will have candidate 2, Mr. Edmund Wong, answer the question first. 2 minutes. This member is Chang Chung Yip, membership number 55304. Question for the 2 candidates. The Hong Kong society is seeing a lot more foreign capital corporates exiting. How can we reinstall confidence in these corporates? 2 minutes, please. Thank you for the question. Different corporations exiting Hong Kong will have their different reasons, and there are many reasons therein, for example, geopolitics, etc. But does it mean that we will have to have a big response? Well, as the government or as LegCo members, we are doing what we're doing, and also we have to also look deeper into it. The chief executive, together with the commercial sector, they have had delegations going to the Middle East and other areas looking for opportunities. For the Western countries, if we overly focus on them, we really see that if there is there will be a concentration risk, and it will be difficult for us to pivot. So luckily for Hong Kong, we still have our competitive edge in our financial market, finance. We see the numbers, whether it is going back to number 1 in Asia as an IFC, all these attainments show that corporations actually do trust Hong Kong. These foreign corporations. We have focused on Western capital in the past, but perhaps we need to diversify a bit. So this is my first response. Secondly, about what our profession can do. Professionals are also going to these different markets with these delegations. The accountants have gone to different places, and one of the things we do is to train more accountants. Hong Kong accountants are very renowned as a brand name internationally. We can play out our competitive edge around the world, but our roots are in Hong Kong. Together with the people of Hong Kong, we can use definitely to bring back more corporations back to Hong Kong. Together with other sectors in Hong Kong, we can do that. Thank you for the question. For foreign companies exiting Hong Kong, we can see that the government is trying to bring in more investments from overseas, and there seems to be some track record, and we have benefited from it. But why corporates leave? It is because politics-wise, it is unstable, or our economics and our business operation environment is worrying. Well, for a LegCo member, of course, we have to tell our story well for Hong Kong and for our profession. That is beyond doubt. But how to increase confidence? The main point is for our profession to do our job well. And again, my platform talks about this in various points. For example, resolving the pain point of our profession together with our regulators to make Hong Kong great, and also to enliven the economy, and at the same time to protect our professional value. Now, for foreign companies, if they feel that they are not confident about the Hong Kong economy, they can also look at our public finance. For example, starting from 2006, we talked about extending the tax base, but till now, there had been very small actions in this direction. I cannot say there's been none, but as a LegCo member, I will definitely motivate the government to look further into this. Apart from bringing in foreign investment, because investment can leave if they want to, but to make our public budget and finance broader in its base, that will make our operation environment even more robust, and our foreign capital will be more confident in Hong Kong. So do vote for me, Edmund Wong. Time's up. Please be prepared. The second question will be answered by you first. The question is from Chen-Chiu-Wah Jeffrey, membership number 4771. How would you motivate or promote the psychological health of the profession and so they can have a very good family life? Thank you very much for the question. Mental health. Yes, we all know that there is the practicing professions. For some of the professional firms, they are very demanding. In the past 2 to 3 weeks in visiting the different areas or different firms, the big firms, the small firms in our accounting profession, they all mentioned to me the same problem, and that includes their psychological and mental health. It is affected by our regulators. For example, 2 days ago, what I heard was that they need one team to answer the questions of the regulators. And for example, in applying for the license of a new office, it takes over half a year. And for example, after a few rounds of questions and answers, all of a sudden, the regulators ask that the answer be provided within 2 days, and a whole stack of documents need to be provided. Otherwise, they are to abandon their application. So as a LegCo member, I believe that I have to step in. The regulators and the regulated, where does the problem lie? I'm just thinking aloud. For the regulators, is it because they have too many files on the desk and they want some of the files to actually be withdrawn, applications be withdrawn? Or rather, they are thinking that at the time of application, these information should have already been ready, but people don't know. And that would affect the firm, and it would affect the mental and psychological health of the accountants concerned as well. Candidate number 2, you have 2 minutes to answer the same question. Thank you for the question. In Hong Kong, mental pressure is large, and we all know that, and the LegCo had discussed that. 1 in 7 Hong Kong people will have certain mental health issues. We all know that, and in the past I have been very focused on this problem. And very often for our profession, it is because of over-regulation. For reasonable regulation, we understand. Regulation is for the long-term development of our profession. I emphasize that. For over-regulation, it forestalls healthy development of our profession. That is not good. And that is one of the reasons why I said I've been shielding and protecting our profession in the past 4 years. And another is long work time and the talent list. All these, hopefully, talent list will help resolve the long work time problem. Now, last week, I issued some messages concerning my platform, and it was exactly that time when the news was sent to me by an accountant. And the topic was there was an accountant who committed suicide by jumping. And this is something that a challenge that Hong Kong people face, and even secondary students are at risk as well. Now, just back to our profession, mental health had been something that I have focused on for a long time. And MWY, a research organization, I've worked together with them to come up with a report concerning mental health and how to seek help. So together with organizations such as youth organization and also YWCA, we have done this study. And for mental health, what is most important is to seek help and to study this topic. I have also joined a course on mental health and also joined another course concerning psychological health.
Time's up. Let's get ready for the next session. So cross-questioning. Candidate 2 will ask question first. Thank you all for your questions. So now we will proceed to cross-questioning. Candidate 2, Edmund Wong, will ask the first question. You have 20 seconds. Please start. From 2025 to 2026 in the budget, it is stated that there would be more tax concessionary eligibility benefits for family offices and so on. So what kind of criteria should be added in order to promote our status as a wealth hub? All right, time's up. Candidate 1, you have 2 minutes to respond to this question. Please start. Thank you, Edmund, for the question. In 2025-26 budget, as we all know, the government strongly aims to attract business opportunities and capital. So there will be tax concession for funds and for CIES and other business solicitation moves. We need to introduce incentives so that companies will be registered in Hong Kong. They can make profit and they can pay tax. Overall speaking, we should not only look at tax-related measures. We need to have an overall view about how we can attract some funds or companies or trusts to Hong Kong. After this process, how much can we benefit from the work? Definitely, the government will do its calculations when it does this work. Now, it was expected that there would be a certain number of foreign companies coming to Hong Kong and there would be additional income for Hong Kong. Let me emphasize, by offering tax concessions, this is only a buffer method. It cannot change the structure of our public finance. So as LegCo member, I think we should communicate more with the government and offer recommendations and advice about how our public finance can be more sustainable, instead of only offering some tax options or incentives to attract them to come. After they have come, if they find the situation not good, if there are other factors of consideration, or if the group wants to make an exit, then we will lose out. So we need to treat Hong Kong as our home, and we should improve our policies overall. This is the responsibility of LegCo members. So please support me. Number 1, Webster. Please support me to join LegCo. Thank you. You have 3 seconds left, so you don't want it? Okay. Candidate 2, you have 20 seconds to ask your second round of questions. Please start. In the past period, so we have answered to the appeal of international tax reform, and so FSIE was introduced, and also the cross-border lowest or minimum tax rate. Regarding FSIE and cross-border minimum tax rate requirements, how can we maintain our competitiveness with about a simple and low tax regime? Candidate 1, you have 2 minutes to answer this question. Please start. Thank you, Edmund, for the question. Well, this question has reminded me of some questions that you raised during some LegCo meetings, saying that Hong Kong's tax system is no longer simple. Well, as we all know, this is not something done by Hong Kong ourselves. It is a global and FSIE and Euro requirement. 2 to 3 days ago, I visited some companies and they made a point specifically. So relevant departments have introduced many new policies. They don't understand why. How come compliance is now much more complicated and that they are required to do a lot more things? Now, for practicing and non-practicing corporate accountants, they find this very troublesome. And I have made explanation to them. This is not something that Hong Kong is taking the initiative to do. We are passively required to do it. If we don't do it, then our status as IFC will be affected, and we can't uphold our values because we would be led by others. So with these measures, actually our profession finds it a headache. Our profession is very much bothered by it. As LegCo member, for the relevant government departments, no matter whether we're talking about inland revenue or business registry, I think there's the need for them to communicate more with our profession so that practicing or non-practicing accountants can know very clearly that, well, of course, in fact, compliance cost is now higher. However, it is not there to make it more troublesome for them to do business or for them to make reports and so on. So it is a way to add value so that we can connect to the whole world. So please support me, Webster, to be a LegCo member so that I can speak for you. Thank you. Time is up. Candidate 1, you have 2 rounds of questioning chance. So please spend 20 seconds to ask your first question. Edmund, over the past 4 years, you did not introduce a limited liability reform. After communication with others, I know that this is very important for our profession. Is it true that you don't know how to do it? If so, then perhaps I can do it for you. Liability is unlimited, but fees are limited. This is very detrimental to our profession. Candidate 2, you have 2 minutes to answer. Please start. Now, I have heard the profession's requests. In the past, there were different voices talking about this liability reform, and I am aware of it. But we need to understand that 20 years ago, at the end of the day, it was not implemented because of special historical background and reasons. This is very complicated. If you need better understanding, I think it would take more than 3 hours for me to explain. To put things simply, Hong Kong has a supervisory-based mechanism. It is different from other places and jurisdictions. In the U.S., there is a class action lawsuit, and so the regulation can be more lenient. But when something happens, they can kill you. But we are different. We need to balance different interests. Regarding this liability reform that was not implemented in the past 20 years, now in the recent 10-odd years, we are in the situation that we could not make money. If we're able to make money, actually, of course, unlimited liability is not ideal. But if there is unlimited liability, if people can make money still, people would do this business. No one will do any business that is not profit-making. And we need to make sure that our finance is developing well so that we can do what we can. If you think that liability reform is your only election platform, then I am thankful to you for raising this point. If I am elected, I will communicate with different sectors about this point. Now, on this issue, it is related to corporate rescue bill that I mentioned earlier. I have studied it, and I understand that different sectors in society have their own reasons of not implementing it, and there are reasons for the business sector as well as the labor sector. So if there are not enough votes, if the government doesn't push it forward, then this cannot be passed in LegCo, no matter how hard you work. Thank you for your comment. Time's up. Candidate 1, you have the second round of questioning time. You have 20 seconds to ask question. Please start. Edmund, in case if you are not elected, will you leave your political party and join another political party that can better represent you? Recently, I read the news, and there are a number of former members who are not elected or who do not stand for election this time will continue to serve the society by joining other parties. So what will you do? You have 2 minutes. Edmund Wong, your question is a good one. Thank you. Now, at present, my job is to fight for support from this profession and fight for votes. My opponent is good, is competent, but then I have a lot of expectations about my political party and also my platform. And so this is not a factor that I am considering now. In my past 4 years' work, I had good communication and relationship and harmony with my political party. The political party is not a headwind for me. It is actually a tailwind. Without the party support in relation to AFRC, voting intention, and also the combat work against fake accountants, and also AFRC OSAP legislation in 2022, it would be difficult for me to push forth those. In this term of LegCo, there are 19 members in our party. We represent different sectors to voice up, and I have learned a lot about things that I did not know in the past in my party. Well, the profession's requests are not only about the accountancy profession. I have received issues from different districts. So I have to solve those issues with friends of my party. So I do like my political party. You ask whether I will join other parties. At this moment, if you ask me, I won't. But of course, I will try my best to do a good job, and I will work with my party. So please vote for me. Number 2, Edmund Wong. Not only one member, but the whole party. So this for this term, there are 19 members, and we actually make up 1/4 of the council. We have more than 130 members in Hong Kong. We have different service spots. We are connected to our country, the business sector, the legal sector, the medical sector. There are our representatives. Please support me. Number 2, Edmund Wong. You are voting for our whole party. Time's up for candidate 2. Please get ready for making conclusion. So, okay, now we'll move on to the last session, and that is conclusion. So our candidates will make a conclusion. They will have 3 minutes to do it. When there are 30 seconds left, and also at the end of the time, there will be a bell. And if candidates have time left, then it will be cancelled. So now we will ask number 2, Edmund Wong, to conclude. You have 3 minutes. Please start. Members of the profession, once again, thank you very much for 2 things. First, for attending this election forum. It is not easy to attend this forum because it's already beyond 9 o'clock. And thank you, members, for your trust on me 4 years ago so that I can speak for you in LegCo and I can defend your rights. I promise that if I'm elected, I will implement my platform, and as usual, I will fight for broader, wider development space for this profession. If I'm elected, I will stand at the forefront and I will always defend this profession and continue to deliver a shelter to you. My platform is not empty talk. I have 4 years of practical experience and I have remarkable achievements. As usual, I will do a better job. 4 years ago, the profession asked why I wanted to become LegCo member, because I wanted to solve some fundamental problems. 4 years have passed. Apart from implementing my platform made at that time. At the same time, there are other challenges in the profession, and I tried my best to ride out the difficulties. The achievements are not only because of my work and not because of the LegCo members in my party. Well, there is not only the help from my party, I have the support of the whole profession. In the past, I understand your support and encouragement for me. Actually, I am grateful. And this time, I heard a lot of voices from others, not only asking me to add oil and fight. In fact, they do recognize my work in the past 4 years. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank the profession. Many members of the profession asked me why I still am standing for election, because I want to finish what I haven't yet. And if I have to start anew, then I have to spend a lot more time. So as long as this profession still needs Edmund Wong, then Edmund Wong will be the same Edmund Wong 4 years ago. I will continue to cover the profession and defend the profession. Last time, I talked about the 3 yeses, and then this time 3 no's in the past and 3 yeses now. 3 yeses. Well, actually, I have past performance, which is better than my opponent, and I have now a platform which shows my future aspirations. I have thought for a long time how to respond to these 3 yeses. In fact, as long as I have your support, if you come in to support today, if you haven't made up your mind whom to vote, If you now decide that you will vote for me, then I have won your support. With your support, that is enough. I think the profession's voice should be heard and should be given importance to. So on 7th December, please vote for me, number 2, Edmund Wong, and please ask your friends to also support me, number 2, Edmund Wong. You have 7 seconds left. All right, candidate 1, you have 3 minutes to make your conclusion. Please start. Members, good evening. I think it is indeed a hard time for you to stay here for 2 hours. Let me remind you again, I am Webster number 1. My platform is Your Profession, Our Hong Kong. Well, as you read from my platform, as I stated at the beginning, I won't repeat the points, but I would like to emphasize that in my platform, there are details. At the same time, it is an all-encompassing platform. What is the main point? The main point is the wisdom of one person, one LegCo member is not enough. And even the wisdom of my whole team is not enough. I need to gather the wisdom of all to do a good job for the profession. So in the past 2 to 3 weeks, I kept on visiting different companies, different accountants, no matter whether they are accounting firms or non-accounting firms. I listened to their views. So you may be aware that they will give very concrete advice and recommendations to me, and I must stress that I will not take them all on board at one go, because there is HCF, right? If everybody stresses one item, one agenda item, of course, that is the most important. I will work on it first, but it doesn't mean that I won't work on other items. They will be put on the priority list with a smaller order. And just now we talked about liability reform. Let me reiterate, this is not the only thing that I am going to do. Perhaps my opponent had not listened to me clearly regarding the profession's pain points, where I'm going to implement a few initiatives. Limited liability reform is only one of them. And my thanks to Edmund. If he is elected, he will also work on it. I've reminded him. So I hope that he would indeed honor his words. Besides, I want to thank Edmund for saying that I do not only have 3 yeses, but actually 4. I said, I am competent, I am accountable, and I have vision. And then he said that I also have past achievement and performance. Yes, that's true, but I did not work as a LegCo member. When I worked for the Institute, and when I work for charity and philanthropy purpose, when I work for government committees, I have made contributions. So please think more. A person who has worked for 20 years in delivering public service, a 30-year accountant, if he can get into LegCo and speak for you and work for you, isn't that the best scenario? So I hope that on the 7th of December, you will vote for Webster number 1. Please support me so that I can join LegCo. Thank you all. Time's up. So the time for both candidates has been used up. So now we will invite our President, Mr. Stephen Law, to make concluding remarks. Okay, I will try my best to be brief. You have been here for a long time, even though the discussion is excellent, but I think you are sleepy as well as hungry. But just now it seems that you seldom played with your phone and you seldom went in and out. So this shows that our debate is successful. Thanks to the 2 candidates. So they have withstood hunger and tiredness with us. And thank you, online members, for listening to this forum for 2 hours. Now, my only point is, on the 7th of December, Sunday, please vote at your poll station. Please cast 2 votes, one for the accountancy profession and the other for the GC election. I hope that this coming election will be very successful and that Hong Kong will enjoy a bright future. Thank you all. Thank you, President. Thank you to candidates. Thank you all for coming. So this is the end of the election forum. Thank you.